Let me start and tell you something very uncomfortable. If you're black, intelligent, and building something online, the algorithm is not neutral by far. And if you think this is about views, likes, or reach, you are already lost. This is more about power than anything else. So, I want to talk about AI algorithms and power. Not tech hype, not buzzwords, but power. And because as of right now, as we're talking real time, there are people working twice as hard for half the visibility. And they keep blaming themselves. Am I doing this wrong? Or is it me? Do I not look right? Am I wearing the right clothes? Is it because I didn't shave? Things like that, right? Or better yet, is it because of the content and they think they need better content? Or is it because of the branding? Do they need better branding? Is it because they're not posting consistently? Do they need more consistency? And that's not the real problem by far. Have you ever posted something, right, that was sharp, useful, honest, and real, and it barely moved like a margin whatsoever? Now, mind you, I'm not about going viral or anything like that, but a lot of folks are. And you see the nonsense out here go viral. Low effort, there's no substance, there's no value behind it whatsoever. And you ask yourself quietly, what am I doing wrong? And I'm going to be honest with you, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong by a long shot. You were just invisible to a system that was not designed with you in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to strip out this mystery behind all this when it comes to the AI algorithm, when it comes to AI and the algorithms, or let alone just the algorithm in itself, because you have to realize, taking the mystery out of this, that the algorithm is not a judge. It's not a merit system. It's not fair by far. The algorithm in itself is a set of incentives. Um, what the algorithm is trained for is that it is trained to reward what keeps people scrolling, clicking on their content, and what gets them to be emotionally reactive. It's not The algorithm is not based on what's true. It's not based on what's helpful. It's literally based on what's profitable. So this is why I say the AI in itself, and not getting off of the algorithm, but AI in itself is not neutral. It truly isn't. If you believe it is, like I said before in the beginning of this live, you're already lost. But this is the part that out loud. AI is trained on historical data, and history beats biased. Or, excuse me, history is biased. It's fucked up, I know. Yet and still, if a system learns from a world that underpaid black labor, ignored black intelligence, and let alone commodified black culture, what do you think is going to learn to amplify? Not you as a thinker, but you as entertainment. That's what it's going to amplify. You see, this is why certain content gets pushed effortlessly. And if you don't believe me, I actually did a social experiment. So, if you guys follow me on TikTok, you can go to my TikTok page. I am the Shelby Clark, right? Go over to my TikTok page and look through two pieces of content, one about Cardi B, one about Nicki Minaj, and then look at the rest of my platform and the rest of that content. Notice that the majority of content that was pushed out by the algorithm on TikTok was for entertainment, not for education, not to raise awareness, but purely for entertainment. And this is why the content gets pushed effortlessly, okay? Because it's conflict over the clarity, it's emotion over the education, it's spectacle over the substance. Now, when Black creators show up with some sort of depth, with a strategy or systems thinking, the algorithm will hesitate. And this is due to the complexity, and the complexity doesn't monetize as fast as chaos. So, the cost of not knowing this is the real damage. You see, people internalize algorithmic neglect as some sort of personal failure. What they'll do is they begin to burn out. They'll dilute their message. They'll start performing instead of building. And that is exactly how power keeps reproducing itself. You see, philosophy teaches something critical, though. What it teaches is that you do not control the system. Period. This is something I speak on all the time. You guys know this. If you watch my videos, you watch my lives, you watch my clips, I say this all the time. You can't control what you cannot control. In this aspect, you do not control the system. You control how you engage the system, though. So, in other words, you do not beg algorithms for validation. You study the algorithms. You don't chase the visibility. You engineer the leverage behind it. And what the algorithm actually rewards, just to give you guys a little clarity on this, algorithms reward three things consistently across the board. If you don't believe me, you can ask any other entrepreneur that's out here that's in the same field or in the same niche, or that's in a completely different field, in a completely different niche. The 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you the same exact thing I'm going to tell you when it comes to these three things that the algorithm rewards consistently. That's retention, reaction, and repeat engagement. Those three R's: retention, reaction, and repeat engagement. Again, I'm going to say it again: retention, reaction, and repeat engagement. This is what the algorithm will reward you with, will reward you consistently. It's not going to be excellence. It's not going to be morality. It's not even going to be intelligence by far. It's going to be behavior. So, one thing you can start applying today, and this is going to be something practical: stop posting to be seen and start posting to train your audience. What you can do, this is something I've done numerous of times throughout my whole entire marketing career. I started my marketing career in 2011. I didn't officially start my first sole proprietorship until 2015. So technically, I've been in business for over 10 years, but on paperwork, just 11. So teach one idea repeatedly from different angles. It's kind of like what teachers should be doing when it comes to students in their schools. Not every student learns the same. You have to teach it from a different angle. So, in other words, what you're going to do is you're going to tell the same truth until the right people recognize you as a signal and not just noise. And when people comment, reply with substance, something that it's kind of like giving soul food to a person who has no soul. And when they hit you in a DM Move them off. Move them off platforms. Because what you're doing here is you're not building content. You're building relationship loops. And the power shift moment, right? This is where everything begins to shift. When the algorithm stops being the gatekeeper and your ecosystems, and your ecosystem becomes the ad set, you realize this. That's email lists, direct conversations, own platforms. That's the real power. And this matters especially for Black builders. This matters even more because we don't get infinite chances to be misunderstood. If you ask me, you probably got 2 times tops. Once, if you're not as lucky. And then on top of that, mispositioning costs us more than ever. It does. So as a Black builder, what we should do, myself included, but what you should do is move intentional. Move intentionally. Learn the system. And stop asking these people for fucking permission. Now, if this made you uncomfortable in any kind of way, that's a good sign. Because comfort does not build leverage. Understanding does. This is what I mean when I tell people get comfortable while being uncomfortable. And if you're serious about building systems that work for you and not against you, you already know what to do. You see the ticker there. Go to the website, www.iamshelbyclark.online. Not later, not someday, but today, Junior, because that's where the real work is going to start. All right. Yeah. What we do is we either going to learn the system or we're just going to keep feeding it for free. Choose wisely.